Okay, we've all seen the chart. Everyone likes to show last cycle, more money was spent by more folks looking at more places than ever before, and yet discovery rates continued to plummet. If we actually look at the numbers behind that, what we see is really regardless of commodity, for every dollar that was spent during this cycle, explorers found 47 cents of value. So that's the opposite of creating value, and that's not why we're here. And that's not why you guys are here. So what happened? Well, we've done such a good job of spreading around the world with new geophysical tools, GPS, computers, everything that's come online has given us a really good job of exploring what we can see. And if it's sticking out of the ground, it's been found. And today, whether we're exploring in Australia, Chile, Nevada, this is what an exploration project looks like. And figuring out how to go undercover here is the future of the entire industry. Now, this isn't without precedent. The transition we're facing is exactly what the oil and gas industry had to do. This is the Gulf of Mexico in 1960. So the whole industry knew the incredible potential out here, but they had to figure out how do we explore underwater. So they figured it out. They spent 40 years looking to develop the tools and expertise to do so, and 40 years later, they found an incredible new source of production. Now, we know that there's still going to be, if we go back to mining, we know there will be some discoveries left here, but we're seeing this is 47 cents on the dollar type work. And now, what we have to do is figure out how to be here. Now, it is challenging, but what's really exciting about this is if we go to the mature, the most prolific districts we know, the areas that are covered are actually much bigger than the areas that are exposed. And what that means is we have an area yet to explore that's way bigger than what we've seen already. So that's where we need to position ourselves. And the majors know this. The majors aren't spending their money up here going after the diminishing returns. The majors are positioning themselves down here. BHP, the world's largest mining company, it's spending 85% of its worldwide exploration budget going undercover. So how do we do this? Well, we think it's about getting back to geochemistry, getting back to taking a sample and testing it for exactly what you're looking for. Well, with new lab analytical tools, we can sample, we have lower detection limits, and we can look at sampling mediums that weren't available to us before. And the most important of which we believe is groundwater. Now, water is a universal solvent. And when you have a covered deposit that interacts with groundwater, you get this characteristic footprint in the groundwater that ends up being considerably larger than what you have in bedrock. What we're finding is we're ending up with footprints that are 10 times bigger. And when you have footprints that are 10 times bigger, you can find them with 1/10 the number of samples. What's even more important is the cost to drill a hole to collect a groundwater sample is 1/100th the cost of drilling a conventional conventional core hole, pardon me. So what we have here is we can collect 10 times fewer samples, they're 1/100th of the cost, and all of a sudden, we can evaluate an incredible amount of area per exploration dollar. This is an absolute game changer for exploration. As we look around the world, the industry leaders are taking this to Africa. First Quantum's using it in Namibia and Botswana, in addition to Sweden and up in the Atacama. In Australia, 80% of Australia is undercover, remember. Rio Tinto's leading a consortia that's funding a continental scale groundwater chemistry database. And in Nevada, we're using it to look beneath the gravels to find new Carlin-style systems, which we're going to talk about now. So anybody that's active in Nevada is going to tell you the same statistics. 100,000 map prospects, 600 gold mines, 5.6 million ounces per year, more in Canada, more than South Africa, world's densest production by area, 225 million ounces produced. Pretty heady statistics. What they're not going to tell you is that 95% of these ounces have come from 4 clusters of Carlin-style systems in the north central part of the state. Everything else in Nevada is relatively insignificant. Furthermore, at 5.6 million ounces per year, that's a 40% reduction from Nevada's peak in 1998. So what we're seeing in Nevada is the same as we're seeing around the world. More people are spending more money to look in more places, and yet they're finding less and less. So we know how important these Carlin systems are. These are the systems that made Barrick, Newmont. And we know that in this part of Nevada, more than half of it sits hidden under gravels. So we know continuing to bang away where we can see the rocks is not where we want to be. We know that for every system that sits in this part of the thing, there's another Carlin system waiting to be found here. We know that groundwater chemistry is incredibly powerful, and so for the last decade, Nevada exploration, we've spent close to $20 million to develop the tools and now complete what's the world's largest groundwater sampling exploration for gold. This is 6,000 samples focused in the north-central part of the state. Our business model here is to find the next Cortez and the next gold strike. We're not here looking for 1 million ounces in the Walker Lane. We're here looking for 1 million ounces per year of production. And we are advancing 3 district-scale projects. Every one of them we believe has this sort of potential. So to show you our workflow, we're going to zoom in. This is Grass Valley. Covered search space immediately south of Cortez, one of the world's top 10 gold mines. It's 500 square kilometers. It's too big to otherwise know where to get started. This is the sort of place we bring groundwater chemistry. With our equipment, we'll complete a study. In this case, we've got 2 projects that came out. North Grass Valley and South Grass Valley. We're drilling down here right now at South Grass Valley, so we're going to zoom in. To complement the groundwater chemistry, we use all the other conventional tools that are important. Here we're using gravity geophysics to confirm that the depth of bedrock is not too deep, some suggestions of some north-south structures. The air mag tells us that this projection of some favorable host units continues out undercover with right types of rocks, not too deep, some structures, gold in a sampling medium we can now prove. We've got a drill target. Now, whenever you drill, it's important to pay attention to what you're looking for in terms of size. That in white is the footprint of Cortez Hills. It's about 300 to 500 meters across, depending where you use your ruler stick. If we had to drill every 500 meters to test this target, we'd be looking at a $10 to $20 million drill program, depending on if we had to do the entire thing. Now, we obviously can't do that. Fortunately, what we know, based on the latest research, is that these footprints are surrounded by halos of trace element chemistry that extend hundreds of meters beyond the mineralization into the surrounding bedrock. We're going to zoom in here at Cortez Hills and look at cross-section across this lower zone here. Now, what we know is in this cross-section, the gold mineralization is 300 meters across. But this footprint of Pathfinders extends several hundred meters outside, and now we've got a target that's 900 meters across. So if we only had 1 drill hole per 900 meters, what would we expect? Well, it's unlikely that we're going to hit the economic gold mineralization, but if there is a target here, we'd have to see at least thick intervals of Pathfinder elements. So knowing what we know about the size of these targets, we're going to zoom back in here to Grass Valley, South Grass Valley here. What we're trying to test with the first few holes is, do we have this type of footprint? So we permit several wide holes across the thing with the idea of, can we spend $1 million or so and find this sort of footprint? We've now drilled 6 holes, and we're pleased to say that with the exception of the first hole, all 5 holes are into thick sections of lower plate, hydrothermally altered, intense silicification, exactly what we need to see at this stage of the program. We've just released results for holes 2, 3, and 4. And these units are blasted with the exact sort of trace element chemistry, including low-level gold that we need to see at this stage of the program. What's important is the scale here. This is 2.5 square kilometers. Now, we're looking for a big system, and big systems have big footprints, and that's exactly what we found at this stage of the program. So, where did we begin? We began with 500 square kilometers. We used the best tools that the industry has, including groundwater chemistry, to focus this. And now with a handful of drill holes, we've been able to find the sort of large peripheral signs that you'd like to see around a large Carlin system. So what's really important here is not only is South Grass Valley an exciting new project for Nevada, this has gone a long way to validate our entire workflow. And this is just one of 3 projects we're advancing. So let's put this all together. We know the future's undercover. BHP's spending 85% of their dollars there. And we know that we have to figure out how to go from the regional scale to the district scale, to the project scale, down to the drill target scale. And every one of these scales, we have to figure out how to be responsible, use our dollars well, and constrain these blind targets. Well, there's no other explorer that's put together the same portfolio of undercover tools. And what that means is there's no other company here that provides an exposure to betting on the future of going undercover. Now, we've got our 3 projects. I haven't gone over our share capital, but we trade for about $20 million. Management owns 1/3 of the company because we believe in what we're doing, and we're drilling right now. In the coming weeks, we expect to put out the next few holes, and we're planning for a big program for the rest of the year. So there's lots of news coming, and we hope you all pay attention. Thanks very much.